Hey guys, got another really slim light bar to show you. Now a while back I did a review video on a pair of U-Box 7" by 1" extreme slim light bars, mounted them on my four-wheeler. Now this is basically their bigger brother. This is a 37" 108 watt light bar, Cree LEDs. It's a combination spot beam, flood beam. Now after I installed those two 7" on my four-wheeler, I'm really happy with them. They give you a ton of light for how small they are, so I'm sure I'm not going to be disappointed in this 37"er. Now this is a combination flood beam, spot beam. You got your spot in the center, and these out here are your flood beams. Like I said, this thing is so slim, you can put this pretty much anywhere you want, basically. Now, I said a while back in a different video that I was obsessed with LEDs, and I wasn't going to stop until I had LEDs on every one of my vehicles. And that's true. I'm still working on that. Now, one of the cars I'm trying to put LEDs on is a Lincoln Continental. And if I were to mount a light bar up on my roof, well, that might look a little silly. But because this light bar is so slim, I'm going to try to mount this light bar behind the bumper cover in the front of the car. There's a little slot in the bottom of the bumper cover that I'll show you in a minute. And hopefully I can pull that bumper cover off and make some brackets and mount this right behind that bumper cover so it'll shine right through that little slot in the bottom. Give me a lot of light, and nobody will even notice it's there during the daytime. Alright, where I told you where I was going to put mine, but because of this small size, you can put these pretty much anywhere. You can put it on the front rack of your four-wheeler, put it up on the roof of your RZR, you can mount it underneath the bumper of your truck, mount it under the back bumper of your truck. You could have some really bright backup lights, light up your trailer for loading it in the dark, even backing it up in the dark. That'd probably come in pretty handy. Like I said, with it being that slim, possibilities are pretty much endless. Alright, let's take a closer look. Now, like I said before, this is a U-Box light bar. I'll put a link in the description to where I got it on Amazon. Now, this will be about the fourth thing I've gotten from U-Box now, and I haven't been disappointed yet, so I'm sure this will be a good light bar. Now, I'm not trying to sell light bars, just letting you know what my experience is. Like I said, it's a combination spot beam, flood beam. You can see the last 6 LEDs have a flood beam reflector, and the centers have the spot beam type reflector. Same thing with this end, last 6 LEDs are a flood beam pattern. I already showed you how crazy slim this thing is. Now while I'm waiting for it to get dark out so I can try this thing out, I just gotta tell you something. Now sometimes when I'm sitting around editing my videos and I'm watching through the clips, I'm thinking, man, this guy sounds like a commercial. Well, just to let you know, I don't sell LED light bars or any of the other products I've looked at. All I know is I work really hard for my money, and before I shell out my hard-earned cash for something, I do what a lot of people do. I look on YouTube, watch reviews, see what other people are saying about them, see if it's worth spending your money on or not. And so I figure if I'm going to be getting these light bars anyway, I might as well try to do the same thing, maybe help somebody out. And who knows, maybe get a few views from my YouTube channel while I'm at it. So if it helps, feel free to thumbs up, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Alright, before we get this thing all mounted up on the car, you know what we got to do first. We got to try it out. So let's take a look. And that thing is really bright for just a single row light bar. You see you get a pretty good spot beam and a lot of flood lighting all around that to really light up the area pretty good. Get that up in the top of them trees up there. And that's pretty bright. Can't wait to get it mounted up. Now here's a comparison for you real quick. These are the headlights on the Lincoln that I'm going to be putting this light bar on. And these are 55 watt DDM tuning HIDs, so they're really bright headlights. That's the low beams there. And here's the light bar. And just the headlights and with the light bar. Alright, there it is all mounted up behind the bumper. I had to make a couple spacers to get it to line up just right with that little slot in the bumper, but there it is. Looks pretty good. Now I want the light bar to work with my high beams, so I don't have to mess with switches all the time. I just flick my high beams on and the light bar comes on. But I also want the option to be able to shut it off or turn it on all by itself without the headlights on. So I'm going to install this single pole double throw switch, or you could call it an on-off on switch. I'm going to hook this up. The center pole is going to go to the control side of my relay for the light bar. One side here is going to go to the power, so it's hot at all times so I can turn the switch on. And the other side is going to come from the high beam wire on my headlights. So in the center position, the light bar will be off no matter what. Flip it the other way. I can turn it on manually anytime. And turn it the other way, and it'll work with my high beams. So every time I turn my high beams on, the light bar will come on. Alright, I got my switch all wired in. I mounted it down kind of low because, like I said, I'm not going to be using it very often. And this is a Lincoln, so you don't want to have a bunch of ugly looking switches all over your dashboard. But I wanted to have that option to control it manually if I wanted to. And like I said, if I flip it this way, every time I turn my high beams on, the light bar will automatically turn on. If I flip it to the center, nothing happens. And then we can flip it this way to manually turn it on, whether the headlights are on or not. So I just kind of wanted to have that option. Alright, well there she is, sitting on the ground. Now because everything's mounted back behind the bumper cover, you don't have anything poking out the front and looking bad. It's a nice clean installation. Can't see it at all from here. Now if you back up a ways, because of the chrome of the reflectors, you can see it back there, so it's not completely hidden, but I'm okay with it. Actually looks kind of cool. Alright, here is just the low beams, and there it is with the light bar. And that is just the light bar. The headlights back on. And just the light bar. And like I said, those are really bright 55 watt HIDs that I'm comparing it to also, so it is pretty bright. Alright, and this is just the LED light bar. Now, I do get some shadowing because it's hidden behind my bumper cover, so I lose a little bit of light, but it's still pretty bright. Pretty happy with it. Looks good.